afternoon tonight to Ceilidh. Here tonight in Colandale, between West Mabu and Port Hood, on Little Mabu Road, which runs right the whole gamut from Mabu to Port Hood. And here at the home of Koryne and Devin MacDonald, and we want to thank you guys for allowing us to be here in your home. And great to have a couple of family members here too, of both you, Koryne, and Neil McDaniel as well on piano. So great music, guys. I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to be watching, saying, "Wow, who's this? Who is this person?" Honestly, and there'll be lots of people that know you as well. So they'll be used to seeing you in different capacities, and you're a busy mom.
Yes.
With 3 kids.
Yeah.
And of course they're used to seeing Neil with his guitar often singing, and in that way. But a lot of people don't realize that you even probably chord to the fiddle. So that's wonderful too. Yeah.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us. And this is a nice addition to the furniture in the room.
The old Heineken piano too.
Yes.
Ah, it's great. And I don't know if Ryan, can you the view that they have out here the window? You can see Mabu Harbor right across the ocean. So this is $1 million view when you wake up in the morning and have a cup of tea looking out this window. So
Yeah.
great to have you. Great tunes too.
Thank you.
The first jig you played.
Yeah,
the name of that offhand?
Yeah, it's Trip to Banff, I believe. Trip to Banff. Yeah. It's a Scottish tune actually.
Yes, really
And
nice tune.
yeah, there's not too many people that play it around here, but I
No.
actually played it at a session a couple weeks ago, and Mally plays it, and so
Okay.
and I call it the Scottish Gals.
Yeah, Scottish. Okay,
They know
excellent.
that one, yeah.
That would
but,
probably be. Would that be a session at Portsmouth at the Indrafich in Mabu, or would that be at the in Port Hood at the Admiral? You're kind of in between both.
I know, I
so
do
you
both.
can
I
have
think
both.
it might have been in Port Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both great. I'm going to both of them.
Great.
So yeah. So
Well, we're gonna have a few questions for you about where you grew up, who taught you how to play, all those sorts of great things. And again, want to welcome everybody who's watching tonight here in Colandale, and I'm really excited to be here today. Ironically as well, I know when your husband Devin looks out the window, he'd be seeing where his people, his father and others, the people came from. We're in Mabu Harbor there, so it's pretty neat.
It
actually.
is.
Pretty
Yeah.
neat connection.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'll ask a couple of questions before we go off to another set of tunes. But just where did you grow up? Because I think a lot of people will be interested to know where you grew up and who taught you how to play.
Yeah. So I grew up in Eastern Ontario. So just outside Glengarry County, St. Andrew Prescott, a very, very small town. But I grew up spending my summers here, or a good part of the summer.
Yeah.
We do always come down for a couple weeks, and my grandfather was born and raised in Washabuk.
Oh, in Washabuk.
So, in Washabuk.
Okay, so you have a Washabuk connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where...
Was he a McLean or was he a McNeil or
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie? Oh, of course,
Yes,
Mackenzie.
yeah.
I should have known that.
Yeah.
So are you related to the Bears? The same Mackenzies, to Jean and?
Probably like a distant relation. Yeah. Close friends and neighbors for sure.
Yeah.
So my great grandmother. So I still have a lot of family members that all live in Lower Washabuk. So right near the point. So we always say if you're at the Tim Hortons in Bedeck and look straight across the water, it's that cluster of homes is right there. Yeah.
You'd think if Washabuk is one of those town names or village names that comes out a lot. You'd think it's almost like a city or something like that.
Exactly, right? Yeah,
a lot of people say, I have roots in Washabuk. So.
So I grew up spending, so my grandfather was a pretty big influence in me picking up the fiddle and that music, and my parents too always love. No, he didn't play. Him and my dad, I can kind of consider the same, where they don't play an instrument, but they know the music so well, and they know all the tunes, and they know. My grandfather, I have boxes and boxes of cassettes in the basement here of all the concerts, like the Glendale concerts, and he recorded all of them. Yeah. So he was.
Yeah, so they were really into it. And did your mom? And what about at home? Did you hear music growing up? Outside that, anybody playing?
Not directly with my parents, but my aunts and uncles and cousins. My aunt was a pretty big influence as well. My Aunt Kathy, my dad's sister, primarily piano, but she plays every instrument out there, and she was the one that was piano and accordion and bass, and she played with the Scottish accent with Bobby Brown.
Yes. Okay.
So she's the one that kind of got me into that gamut of music. Yeah, as well. So
do you play piano a little bit?
I dabble.
You dabble.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll hear people
now
say
that. We have this,
and then I was like, oh yeah, they play.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that we have this here, it'll be a really good excuse to kind of start playing again and kind of
we'll get you back at playing and like I said, Neil, I'm gonna definitely have some questions for Neil as well.
Sure.
About the piano and such, and it's hard to beat a lot of homes with the Heinz beats. They're great pianos.
Yeah, we
Fantastic.
were pretty lucky to get this one. It just came. Well, it was Devin's Uncle Jack. It was in his house.
So it came from the village of Mabou.
Yeah, it came from right in the village.
Yeah.
And the house was most likely going to go cold this past winter, and so we figured we'd get it out of there and bring it here. And
right beside the new Mabou
house.
So right beside there, and a big home.
A massive home, a big 3-story home.
And the same looking home in Stradlorne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the twin of it. So we got the baby here, and we got toys going. It's great.
Yes.
It's real.
Yes.
So let's get back to some tunes.
Sure.
What are you thinking?
I might play a tune, a march it's a march and a reel. I wrote just a tune in A, and
nice.
It was one of those tunes where I liked it as a march, but then I also kind of liked it as a reel. So
I understand.
you tell me how
you're
like
playing
it
as a march or a reel or both?
I'll do both.
Oh, cool.
And then you tell me how.
Do you want to give it the name?
I called it Trip to Lennoxville.
Trip to
Lennoxville. It at the time I went to Bishop's University, and I was traveling back and forth quite a bit, and
did you make it then?
I made it then, yeah.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
In A.
Sure.
In A, yeah.
loved your tune as a March Henry, first of all. So I can't pick which one. It's great vocals.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's great. It's
Thank you.
nice, like, lift to it. All the tunes. I was wondering, as you were playing, I was thinking what your influences might have been. Because there's different influences sound that comes into it. So
like when I play at home, like or in Glengarry County, they're like, oh, she's like a Glengarry K. Breton fiddler. Like, it's a little mishmash, I guess.
No, that's great.
And I think probably just since moving here, there's been a lot of just attending the jam sessions and doing that over and over. Eating little toys. Sorry. But growing up, it was a lot of, my teacher played a lot of old time fiddling music.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of Ottawa Valley influence.
So who was your teacher again?
My teacher was Ian McLeod.
Ian McLeod.
Yeah. So I started playing when I was 10. So I was 10 years old when I started. Yeah.
So which is a great age. I always feel like sometimes it's nice to have your hands a little bigger that you can.
Yeah.
Did you start on a half-size fiddle?
I started, I think, on a 3/4, but I might have only used it for a couple months or something, and then I got to a full size. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So I started when I was 10, but my brother and sister also play fiddle. Reluctantly sometimes. There you go. I was going to ask, so there's others in the house. Yes, yeah. So I was the youngest of 3, and they do play, and so, but of course I was just kind of tag along to fiddle lessons. So I'd be sitting on the couch while they're getting their fiddle lessons for probably 5 or 6 years.
What's your brother and sister's names again?
Kyle and Jessica.
Kyle and Jessica.
Yeah.
So Kyle and Jessica, we're going to grab those fiddles next time here in Cape Breton here for a get together. So I probably listened to, who knows how many hours of fiddle tunes before I even picked up. Right, I was kind of sitting and listening, and then when it was my turn, I just kind of jumped in. Right? Yeah, I understand.
And then I just started, and I got right into it. And I will say to parents, I did not have to do any chores if I was practicing the fiddle.
That's a good idea. I'm going to use that.
So if my brother, so that's what I remember is that I didn't have to go to the barn and do chores if I was practicing. Oh, don't bother her, she's practicing.
Oh, excellent. So, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so I will say it worked.
Good. It did. Do you learn more from ear or note or combination?
It was a bit of both. My teacher Ian was pretty adamant on teaching us how to learn how to read music.
Yep, absolutely.
But he would always play something first, and then we would read it, and then we would play it together and read. So it was definitely the fact that he would play something before. I think I would always be really intently listening.
I think it's important to be able to do both. Because
absolutely.
you can pick up a book then and learn a new tune.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm definitely.
Although the ear is always going to be the most important. There's no question about it.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to pick up tunes, and actually that's how I'm learning a lot of tunes lately. It's just at these jam sessions, I just kind of try to pick them up. So. Yeah. Did
you ever go to the Gaelic College growing up? Just out of curiosity?
No, I never had an opportunity. Mainly because when we came to Cape Breton, it was straight to Washaba, right? Like we didn't even do any tours. No, it was usually straight to family. But we did when I was just starting to play the fiddle. I was about 11 or 12, I think. I'd been a couple years in, and our youth group did an exchange with the Cape Breton youth group.
Oh, excellent.
So it was right around when we were doing our Highland Games.
Yes.
And then so they came to us first, and then we did the Cape Breton Fiddlers concert.
Oh yes,
in August that we do. Yeah. The Fiddle Festival. So that's
always a connection there between Glengarry Fiddlers and Cape Breton Fiddlers.
Yeah. So and it was awesome. They had a lot of the fiddlers now. Like I think Rachel Davis would have been in that group too. Like all the youth fiddlers at that time, and Colton was actually our billet. So Colton McDaniel.
Colton McDaniel.
Yeah, so we go way back too. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Well, a little shout out to the folks that are watching. And I always say this every week, and that we appreciate any of the donations we receive. And Ryan will make sure that the information's up on there. if for some reason you want to contact us, feel free to contact us at the Gaelic College, and we'll make sure that we can do things over the phone as well, and we can provide our address. If you ever want to sponsor a Ceilidh, please contact me directly, and I'll make sure that you know, we can do it in memory of someone. We could do it in recognition of someone. And it's important for the Gaelic College because about 80% of our funding comes from the money that we raise on site and our donations and all that sort of thing, and all goes back into those programs, which make a difference for the young kids. So yeah, we just had a successful March break, well over 100 kids that attended, and there's fiddlers and piano players and Highland dancers and Gaelic speakers and singers and more, step dancers and more. Mm-hmm. And it was great week. Awesome. Another tune?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll play some waltz. Play a waltz and waltz and D maybe, and then just some strategies and moves.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll play another one that. So this was the first tune I ever wrote.
Okay.
And I called it My Grandparents. So.
My Grandparents.
Yeah.
How many tunes have you made?
Any
idea?
Not that many. I haven't written one in a long time.
It comes in waves.
Yeah, it kind of comes in waves.
You've been a little busy with 3 kids.
Well,
3 kids under the age of, what, 5 and under?
My oldest will be 5 in May.
Yeah. So you have 4 and under, 3 kids.
Yeah.
You and Devin have a busy house.
Yes, yeah.
And hockey rinks and all the rest.
Yeah, we're good.
And you work from home.
Yeah, I'll be working. I'm on
besides all the other work.
Yes, well, exactly. Yeah. Currently on maternity leave. I'm grateful that I'm taking the full 18 months. So I'm taking. Yeah, but I'll be heading back to work in the fall. So yeah.
Wow. Look forward to another waltz.
Thank you.
My Grandparents.
Yes, I promised Mom and Dad I'd play.
Excellent.
This one,
so all those thousands of people in Eastern Ontario that are watching tonight from home. They're all watching.
Yes.
All wanting to make donations to the Gaelic College.
Yes,
the thousands of people.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
fantastic. Like I'm just enjoying the quality of the tunes, the different tunes that I'm not used to either. I mean, I'll hear one that you know, and I hear one that like the last one. What's the name of the last one?
Those 3 reels I wrote for my nieces and nephews.
Okay, well that's why I didn't hear it. So you wrote the 3.
Yeah, Macklin, Maggie, and Jack, my brother's kids.
Wow,
Yeah.
so 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, great! Look at there's the the Scottish Gaelic aspect to it, but there's an Irishy feel to it, and there's a different feel to it. It's really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Makes them outstanding tunes.
Thank you.
Do you have them written down?
Some.
Some, yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that I need to get on that. I used to have like the program on the computer, right?
Yeah.
I need to get that back.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. I will write them, but I'll have someone else actually. My cousin Andrew has been very good at me and Kinnan writing
maybe
them
I
up.
should do that.
They
Yeah,
do it pretty
exactly.
fast.
Yeah. Oh,
They've been
yeah.
excellent. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Andrew and Kinnan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Really love it. Really love it. And now we're going to talk a little bit about your piano player. And
Yes.
and when I was talking to you, so we're here at the home of Koryne MacDonald and Devin McDaniel here in Colandale, which is between Port Hood and Mabou, or Mabou and Port Hood, along Little Mabou Road. And it's a beautiful view from here. It's a beautiful spot. Here with Koryne on fiddle and Neil McDaniel from the Marguerites on piano. And I think there's a lot of people, I mentioned earlier, a lot of people won't realize just how accomplished you are on the piano. Honestly, Neil, like chording wise, like have you been doing chording to the fiddle since a while? Or?
Well, for me, which way do I look?
Oh, you look doesn't matter.
Act natural here. We had an old pump organ in the house, and that was my first introduction to music. And our oldest sister played on it. I thought it was just magical. And one of the tunes she wasn't playing tunes. She was playing a variety of pieces, but one of them was Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay.
Now, the organs in such rough shape, Jesus Christ would have to come by the house and do a miracle. But anyway, that was my introduction, and I was probably 7 or 8 years old, trying to play the pump organ, which is coordinating your, pressing the bellows and trying to work your way around the keyboard. But I just got hooked onto it, and I loved it, and had a few other instruments in the house, an old guitar and a penny whistle, and I just kind of kept with it. But as far as chording with fiddlers, that was later on, probably late adolescence when I got an opportunity, a rare opportunity.
Did someone show you how to chord? Or
No.
you just figured it out?
I just tried to figure. I'm still trying to figure it out. Really, like there's a lot to it. There's so many tunes. There's a lot of crossover material, but there's just there's a lot of content there, and the different swing, and you're trying to keep the groove and the rhythm without train wrecking it, but you want to keep it interesting as well. And I'm glad you shouted out the transposition to the key of E, because I wasn't thinking that was coming. I forgot that it might be coming. But anyways, I was learning on things there. So, but as far as growing up, we had 3 uncles that played pipes, bagpipes, and that was another introduction to music. And chording, it just takes time. It just I wish I did have somebody in my corner back then that could kind of structure me, but it wasn't there, and it just something that happened over time.
Well, it's great and it's outstanding. You're doing. I like I said, when Koryne mentioned your name today, I was like, wow, that's great. I said, and he went to the mom was here.
I did
So
actually.
Neil's mom is
yes.
here, and she's making sure that we know exactly what.
Say the right thing.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
Yeah.
So okay,
Gaelic
let me
College.
back.
So you're a Gaelic College student.
For about 1 week, I got an opportunity to go over, and Dougie McPhee was.
Excellent.
You were an instructor at the time.
Okay.
Dougie McPhee was there, and Joey
in the
Beaton.
mid-90s.
Yeah, and geez, you know what?
95. Yeah.
I'll say this much too, like you wouldn't think what's a week or what's 5 or 6 days, but I'll tell you, it just there was something, a little switch went off in the back of my head. And I went back, I was going to St. X at the time, and we had a piano in the house, and I just like, wow, I felt like even just in a matter of a few days, I felt like I really had some inspiration. I had Dougie and Joey, both of them. Yeah.
Wow.
I had you two as an instructor for fiddle.
Oh, for fiddle.
But I didn't keep up much with the fiddle. That's a different story.
I guess Dougie and Joey did better than I did.
And Sandy McIntyre was there too.
Yes, Sandy was there.
So there was a lot of jokes. It was good. Yeah. It was good crack.
Yeah.
You know, it was great fun, and it was a good roster. But it's amazing, like I said, just in a matter of a few days. Something happens there.
Switched.
Something switched there.
Well, it really does make a difference. I know I see it in my own kids, and I know lots of other people do as well. I mean, I had a nephew that never played the piano before. Went to the Gaelic College for the week. Started with Colton. Playing, and my nephew Don Gillis, he's out playing now quite a bit. And so it's sometimes the switch goes off, right? And so that's a pretty neat story. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Anything else?
Because
you go to your background too, Neil. My mother was Gaelic speaking never spoke English until she was 9 years old.
Yeah.
And her father was a violin player, Archie McIsaac.
Okay.
Yeah, and his brother was a bagpiper, so it's all there. Anyhow, lots of it.
It all connects. It all connects.
This is my manager, by the way.
Yes, that's right.
That's what he says every time.
Speaking of promotion, we often hear Neil with your vocals and singing or guitar or another instrument, and so don't forget if you're out and about. So painting on the wall.
Yeah, and that's Mom's painting.
That's my painting.
That's your painting. So that's right here.
Yeah.
There's the painter over here.
Yeah, and that's my husband in the back fishing.
And that's your
down at the river.
Down
our
the
property,
river.
the McDaniel pool.
McDaniel pool in the Marguerite.
Yeah, Marguerite.
Yeah.
God,
so what happened was Mom, before she was married and family and everything, she did do quite a bit of artwork, and growing up in the house, every room in the house has paintings on the wall, and a lot done by yourself, and that was just one. I mean there's a lot of good ones, and I thought that was a very tasteful one. And I started, people put out recordings, and they, it's been done before with your pose and your instruments and whatever, but I think it was just kind of made sense to give Mom a little nudge there, and hopefully she'll get back into the artwork. But anyway, that was kind of part of it. Yeah.
Well, Neil, why don't we? Would you mind doing a song?
I'll do a song right now. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. And just to mix things up a little bit, and
okay. I'm gonna get my guitar.
Don't forget to buy Neil's CD. So if you're out and about, and I should know this right offhand, Neil. I don't know if we have any at the Gaelic College or not. When we open
probably not. Maybe not. Maybe some from another era that might be there. But I'll stop by for sure.
So this is fairly new.
This came out about a year ago. Within the year, I suppose.
Within the year. Okay. So if you're out and about, and take a look for Neil's CD, and then when you're out and about in the next couple of years, no doubt Koryne will make a CD. She'll have to, because we have to make sure all those great tunes are recorded, and some beautiful stuff. It
did get a nomination for the Nova Scotia Awards, but I got beat out by Rachel Davis.
Oh, well, you're in fine
I guess
company.
Not so bad. Rachel Davis in there,
company.
and so that's not too bad.
You're in fine company.
Well, we just went through St. Patrick's Day, and I was digging out a lot of the old Irish content, and I'm going to do an Irish song, if that's okay.
If that's okay.
We'll do the old Belfast Mill. At the east end of town, by the foot of the hill, there's a chimney so tall, says Belfast Mill. there's no smoke at all coming out of the stacks in the middle of town, never coming back. And the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind. Ah, she blows through the town, weave and spin, weave and spin. I am too old to change, and I am too young to die. Oh, where will I go, my old man and I? For the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind. Ah, she blows through the town, weave and spin, weave and spin. Now there's no noise at all in these dark empty streets, and the middle of town so quiet I can sleep. Oh, the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind. Oh, she blows through the town, weave and spin, weave and spin. And the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind. Oh, she blows through the town, weave and spin, weave and spin.
Very appropriate this week too.
Very appropriate this week. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Paddy's Day.
In the mill.
Yes.
Yeah, uncertainties.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And might
Sorry.
make me do one more.
Yeah.
Would that be okay with you?
Sure, yeah,
Maybe
sure.
while you have your guitar out
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, and not to put you on the spot or anything like that, but would love to hear another one.
Well, here's another
We'll
one.
get back to the tunes after that.
I'll do one more. We'll do Peggy Gordon. So that'll be one.
I'll let you play that.
Hello, hello.
Come on.
That's the
Oh
mouse.
my
God.
See, this is the real deal. Baby toys, the dog. But this is what it's all about, and
Yes.
that's actually for January, and February, March, and part of April. We're going out to houses is what we want to be doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people would not have had the chance to hear you both without
Yeah.
this. We appreciate it very much, and all right.
So I'll do Peggy Gordon. It's a lovely an Irish song. I first heard it from Luke Kelly with the Dubliners, and that's one of those voices that one of those voices for sure for me. One of those inspirational artists. Yeah, so I'll give it a go.
I'll let you do this one.
Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. Sit you down upon my knee and tell to me the very reason why my slighted so by thee. I'm so in love, I can't deny it. My heart lies smothered in my breast, not for you to let the world know in a troubled mind can have no rest. I laid my head on a cask of brandy. It is my fancy, I do declare. While I'm drinking, I'm always thinking and wishing Peggy Gordon was here. Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. I'm set you down upon my knee and tell me the very reason why am I slighted so by thee. I wish I was in some lonesome valley where womankind cannot be found, and the pretty small birds, they change their voices, in every moment a different sound. Here we go. Oh, Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. I'm set you down upon my knee and tell me the very reason why am I slighted so by thee.
You didn't need a loudspeaker.
No, it's wonderful.
Loudspeaker,
Wonderful.
good acoustics.
Yeah, great acoustics in this room.
I know,
Yeah,
fabulous,
fantastic.
Dale. Keep that in
Fantastic.
mind.
Do you want me to keep the guitar for the next tune? Or?
Yeah, sure, we could do that.
It's up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna go on some fiddle tunes.
yeah sure.
Right at her.
I was gonna play. I liked playing this tune just because of a little bit of a ridiculous story behind it, but
Okay.
so this beautiful Point of Coney,
Yes.
you know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I was pregnant for our second, I made a really great playlist with all these beautiful pieces and music that keeps me nice and calm and things like that. And anyways, and I don't know if you know this story already, but unfortunately we didn't make it to the hospital
Yes.
with our second.
Yes, that's.
And so I had the music playing in the car, and when our son was born, this is the tune that was playing
Oh
in the car.
wow.
And I always loved that piece, but I didn't know how to play it. And so after that happened, I said, well, I have to learn it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so beautiful Point of Coney. And
You'll never forget it.
I'll never forget that
Never
tune.
forget.
I'll never forget that tune. As we say, exit 33, right across from the Tim Hortons.
In All's Cove.
No,
No,
the
in
exit
Antigonish.
Centralized, right in Antigonish.
In Antigonish, sorry,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so close yet so far. Yeah,
We're hitting a few
so
high points too.
Well, it
Yes.
all worked.
yeah. So
worked.
yeah, so
God
we
bless you.
play that tune. So Kyle McNeil brought Huey into the world. Yeah.
Another washer, but connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
the name of the last tune?
Yeah, so that was Ian McLeod's jig. So a good friend from home
Yeah.
wrote that tune. Her name is Kelsey McDaniel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another fiddler.
Was she a
from home.
student as well of Ian's?
She was a student and niece.
And a niece.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, and another connection to home, like original
Another
home.
original home. Yeah.
Original home in East Ontario. East Ontario. What was the name of the community again?
St. Anne de Prescott.
St. Anne de Prescott.
Yeah, Glengarry.
Glengarry
is the
area.
county. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Glengarry County.
Yeah. No.
And great friends of the Cape Breton Fiddlers, and yeah, a little shout out to the Glengarry folks because
Yes.
I know there'll be a few watching from home.
Yeah.
No doubt,
Probably.
and rightfully so. It's great.
Yeah. Thanks.
You mind doing one more selection for us before we
Yeah.
maybe do a finale? And
Sure, we can do that.
your fiddle. What's any story behind the fiddle?
I got this fiddle actually from Kinnan.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Kinnan found this.
There's a
Where
few of
I'm
those
not
floating
sure.
around.
Yeah, exactly. I had been looking for a fiddle for a while. My original fiddle is up there,
Okay.
I was looking to get one of Clay's fiddles originally, but of course that wait list was long at that time, and I was living at home, and Andrea was living in Montreal at that time, and Kinnan
Kinnan's
shipped.
daughter Andrea.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kinnan, yes. So so Kinnan shipped the fiddle to Andrea, and
Okay.
then I went to her place
Wow.
and I tried it out
It's a great fiddle.
at that time,
Great
and
sound.
it was it's kind of
What kind? Is there a name on it?
it's in French. I forget now. There's
Okay.
nothing, but it's I find
Nice
I like
tone.
it's soft. It's
Yeah,
a soft
I like the
sounding
tone.
fiddle, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
And according to Derek Cameron, it's really easy to amplify. It's very kind.
Good.
So
yeah.
maybe because
Maybe
it's a very soft.
even and very
Yeah, I guess it's
nice.
it doesn't usually give me too many troubles. So.
And you don't live too far. Like you're like
No.
there's lots of music. West Naboo Hall is just down the road from you.
Yeah.
And Melody and Derek Cameron just down
Yeah,
the road.
Exactly.
And
So I do have to shout
lots of
out that
musicians.
Derek and Melody, I wasn't really playing much when I moved here, mainly because I was just a little intimidated by all new folks. But I was busy and just trying to get into the community and find my spot. And Derek and Melody were the ones that kind of made me
No, it's
start
great.
to play, and they got me to play at the concert that they have
Yeah,
in Naboo,
Naboo.
the spring. It was either the spring or summer concert
remember
was the
that.
first one that I
Yeah.
played at,
Yeah.
and it was kind of that was
the kickoff.
that was the kickoff,
Yeah.
and then after that I was doing some stuff at the CMIC and
Yeah.
things like that, but. I do have to thank them because they
Exactly.
they've been really great to me.
And you've done the shoe. We had you at the shoe one time
Yeah.
for Kitchen Fest.
Yeah, I've done
you,
Kitchen
it was
Fest,
kind of the
yeah.
last week you you filled in for some of those.
Yeah, so I've done that.
Great. Yeah, and we'll be bugging you again soon for Kitchen
Yeah,
Fest and both of you.
that'd be great.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so I've been playing lots. Actually, Neil's been really great to get me out to play, and a few other musicians in the area that I'm starting to get to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the sessions are good for that too.
Sessions are great.
Yes.
They're really great. And Devin plays hockey and I play fiddle, so we take our turns.
You take your turn.
Yes.
Someone has to watch the kids.
Someone has to watch the kids.
3 kids, 4 and under. So
Yeah,
busy
yeah.
house.
So it's been good, and on that note, maybe I'll finish with a tune that I learned from my Aunt Kathy when I was playing with the Scottish accent. I guess it was one of Bobby Brown's. He really liked this tune too, and it's called Callum's Road.
Callum's Road.
And I think it's quite popular in Scotland, but it's making its way, I think, over a bit. But I'll play it for my little Callum.
Yeah.
So.
He's been really good. Callum's
He's
really good.
so far
And so
we'll jinx it now. He's gonna start
That's
to
okay.
cry.
Yeah, he knows I'm talking about.
D.
And also your other
Into a
little
stretch
guy
there.
just came in there too. So
Yeah, home
One
from
of-
school.
yeah. And he wants to play hockey.
He wants to
Yeah.
play hockey,
Yeah, in a minute. One more tune.
Dad's busy. Alright.
steps over in the corner. Bernard, Devin's mom for a second there.
And she
Some of the steps she would have done at the Mabel Hall many years ago.
You didn't even have to hold on to the chair.
And she would have been going to the dances with Don Langus when he would have been playing over there.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
You and Ronnie, yeah.
that's for sure.
And actually one of the tunes that Koryne played, the Strasbourg, you were playing Willie Francis Fraser's Strasbourg, and no doubt he was at a few of those dances himself. And those were great times, no doubt. Yeah.
Great times in West Marble Hall.
What house would you have gone to, Maggie, over the years, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, Shoreditch and
Should they?
West Marble and Marble.
Yeah, Mabel. Yeah, Glencoe.
Strathmore,
Glencoe.
West.
Oh, Glencoe, of course.
Glenville. Did you go down to Glenville?
Glenville,
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Winston Scotty would be playing down there, in Glenville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever hit? There was a dance hall down near in Broadcoat and Vegan area there, up in the
Oh, yeah, Brook section.
Brook section. Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
My father mentioned he was at one of those.
Oh, that was great. We went to everything.
Lots of
Oh,
great halls for
Broadcoat,
dancing.
Broadcoat, Deepdale, all the schools
Yeah.
dancing.
All
Yeah.
schools had dances.
Yeah, everywhere.
Wow.
The
Wow.
one-room schools.
And so there's music. I mean, there's music. That's why I was thinking about you, Koryne, when you're playing and your kids. You know, I know the little fiddle. Was that your little fiddle when you were?
This
small?
one was mine, but I gotta here's the OG.
Oh, okay.
This is my very first fiddle.
Oh, yeah.
When I was jealous of my brother and sister
Okay.
playing.
You had to pick it up one
Yeah.
Sunday too.
But it's lasted it's lasted.
God.
So now it's-
Stradivarius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that's Huey's fiddle now. So yeah.
You'll have like your kids, like there's some music coming in on the McDonald side too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think of
Yeah.
if we, I mentioned, so Devin and I are be second cousins,
Yeah.
and so a relation there to Kenneth Joseph MacDonald as well, another MacDonald.
Yeah.
So there's music coming in different directions
Yeah.
and more, and lots of dancers and things like that.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
so it's been great having you both.
Yeah. Thank you for coming over.
Today, like you and Neil, it's been fantastic. Really enjoyed your music, both of you.
Thank you.
And thanks for allowing us to come to the house here.
Yeah. Well, thank
Invade
you
your
for coming
space.
to me. Sometimes
I know it's not easy, and when you have little ones and it's
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
And so, look, take a look at where both Neil and Koryne are playing this year. I know Neil's at lots of different pubs, performing all over the place, either with a guitar or hand, or now on a piano as well.
Occasionally,
Got,
yeah.
And of course, Koryne, you'll catch her at Ceilidh's and concerts and sessions and pubs
Yeah.
and
Trying
different
to play.
things.
Yeah, I'll try to play a bit more this
Yeah.
summer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to get out and
Well, you have a few
Yeah.
things on the go too.
a
so
few.
it's-
Yeah. a few.
But
a few,
it,
yeah.
it goes to show, just down the road is another great musician, Mary Elizabeth McGuinness,
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
Fiddler, piano player, great step dancer as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're lucky. You're surrounded by some great musicians down the
Yeah,
road.
yeah, I hear that a lot actually. A lot of
Yeah.
family and friends from home. Anytime I post something from here, they say, "You're so lucky." You're so lucky.
Lots of music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of music for sure. So.
Well, we're happy to be on the road today here in Colandale. And we're gonna end with a little blast of tunes.
Great.
I use your thing on the wall here.
Yes.
Do I just pull
Yeah,
it out?
just pull up, and up,
okay.
and then
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get one of those
Yeah,
at
they're
home.
nice and secure.
Yeah, that's great.
I can do it hanging on
And
to the chair.
so we're gonna
No,
play.
not at all anymore.
We're gonna start with Hajime
Oh, Christ.
Nopet.
I've been dancing.
I won't do the
since
word.
I was-
Yes.
Okay, Hajime Nopet.
That Jamie
We're
knows.
Just
dancing
Gaelic
our
words
whole
to it, of
lives.
course.
There,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
a lot of the old tunes have Gaelic words. Rollers.
Yeah.
This being one of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then we're gonna do a couple of reels. So
Perfect.
you go ahead and I'll follow you.
You play the first tune and then I'll
Okay,
I'll
okay.
do the rest. How about that?
Thanks again for being with us, and thanks to Ryan for
Yeah,
doing the live stream, and
Doing a
as
good
well
job.
any donations. Ryan will make sure the information is there. Kitchen Fest June 27th to July the 5th, and there's in the next number of days, next few days, we'll be going out with the schedule of where we're at, and then later around the end of April, 1st of May, we'll be out with the list of all the musicians and everything. So if you're a musician and you're wondering why you maybe haven't been contacted yet, some of those calls are still being made. A lot of the calls are still being made. So don't worry, we'll be connecting with you soon. And those that are planning trips, you'll see all the venues, the times, you know, whether it's 19 and over or open to family members, whatever it might be. That's all coming out in the next within the next week. Okay, so you'll be able to plan your vacation. So
There you go.
Thank you.